Browns 0-8 at home. Just sad.
I haven't heard you this down since Dr. Brown got fired. It's a game that we were in, and it's a game that we just don't finish.
I don't want to watch anymore.
Why? Why does that happen? I'm so sick of watching those plays.
0-16.
I definitely do not want to watch this all 22.
That's up and down to me. That looks like dysfunction. Welcome back, Survivors. Episode 60 of Season 3. Season 3 coming to an end very soon as we roll into the new 2019 NFL football season. Live from the Baywater Studios in Tampa, Florida. I am Adam. Greg is somewhere.
Walmart parking lot. We're back, baby. We're back. Been a while. Good to feel. I feel like home. The home away from home, you know? Back to the parking lot, see some old friends.
Yeah. Sitting in the parking lot, it's about, what, 5 degrees or something?
Yes. And so you might every once in a while hear like a blowing noise. That would be the heater because it was 20 degrees outside right now. So, yeah, I might have to turn the heat on every once in a while.
Spectacular. Big news today.
Just the lengths we go to at Surviving the Season to get a podcast out. I don't see anybody else sitting out there in 20-degree weather recording.
Doing the work, putting down the work.
Putting the work in.
Big news today. A lot of rumors, a lot of shit going on. But let's do the real news first. Jamie Collins has been released by the Browns, saving, well, not a whole lot of cap savings, but we'll carry over 2.5 dead cap. Jamie Collins, $10 million will not be paid this year.
Okay, $2.5 million gets paid this year, right? Or is it for the next 2 years?
No, that $2.5 million will accelerate into this year's cap, yeah.
Yep, had to be done. I mean, we've talked about it. We talked about it the day he signed his contract. It is a 2-year contract. He played his 2 years. If he would have played spectacularly, maybe he could have earned an extra year, but it was destined to be. Is there anything more you can add to that?
Not really. I thought he played down a little bit. If year one wasn't great, year two there showed a few signs of not a whole lot of effort. I thought the second half of the season he played a lot better, but
yeah, well, technically 2.5 years. I mean, how many games did we get him back in 2015? No, 2016 is the year we got him, right? Halfway through the season.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he ripped his knee apart. That's not enough. He gave to the team his knee ligaments. That's not enough for you, apparently.
What did we get? What did we traded a third round pick for him, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you remember at the time we needed to upgrade the linebacker position, and yeah, I would say it was underwhelming for Jamie Collins to come in. He didn't give us exactly what we thought. Really, after we brought him in for what was it, like the 6 games, it's not like he necessarily played all that great in the 6 games to warrant the contract, but you sort of had him in here and you had, they gave him the money. What are you going to do? Might be the same thing that we're talking about Jarvis after next year.
Yeah, when you're sort of rebuilding, and I think Sashi was trying to keep some talent here in a way of, at least we got a couple veterans in the room. Maybe he's not the right one, but no surprise here that he's gone.
No, not at all.
I think there was some reports that they were either going to restructure this contract or try to trade it. It's an untradeable contract, and really, as a veteran player, nobody should restructure their contracts.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke, but again, so or like what happens like if he goes into the free agency market here, he doesn't restructure. It would make sense if the team goes, hey, we'll pay you $8 million, and that's all you're going to get on the open market. I mean, how much money is Jamie Collins going to get on the open market now?
Yeah, I could foresee a 1-year deal, $6 to $8 million or something like that.
So, I mean, if he did something like that, I don't think there's any point in bringing him back. Like, he didn't do enough to warrant being brought back. We know we need to improve at that position. I think really part of the reason why the defense struggled at times was because Jamie Collins just wasn't getting the job done. Not all the time, but some of the time. So I'm not surprised. This one the writing was on the wall for a while. I don't think there was one person going, we expect to have Jamie Collins back in 2019.
Yeah, bad tackling defense and a bad tackling linebacker.
Right. We need to improve there.
Yeah. Next up, we probably don't have anything else to say on that one. We kind of expected it. Next up is the Duke Johnson rumors. They are either trying to move him, trade him. Something's happening. There's.
Yeah, you know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. John Dorsey happened. He opens his yapper and then starts saying, well, he's not. I don't think he's tradable yet. Maybe sometime. Maybe soon. Not yet. But just shut up. Just if he doesn't open his mouth, we're not even having these discussions. Look, like I'm not going to sit there and act like running back's the most important position, but we know what Duke Johnson can do when you actually give him the ball. You don't give him the ball enough, right? You don't give him the ball enough by most people's standards. But when you do, he gets the job done. He shows up every week, hasn't missed any games, can catch the ball out of the backfield. You don't have any other backs that can do what Duke Johnson does. Now, is that an easily replaceable position? Absolutely, 100%. I'm not going to argue that with you. But I'm having this discussion with people on Twitter, and they're like, well, just trade him. For what? Well, you can get a fifth for him. What do we need more fifths for? What GM's going, you know what, man? We need to get more fifth-round draft picks. You know what we don't have enough of? Enough fifths. Like, come on, man. We got a player here. The kid can play. We don't have to have a roll of the dice and see if we can pick up another guy. We're paying him practically nothing. What do we owe him? $3 million this year?
His cash for 2019 would be $2.3 million.
It's even less than I thought. So you're paying him almost nothing. I mean, way less than even what a rookie first-round draft pick. And then, so I'm having a discussion, well, you can get a fifth for him. And, okay, so then what are you going to do? How are you going to fill the Duke Johnson position? Well, you draft somebody. Why would we draft somebody when we already got the guy there? It makes zero sense. Some people, man, I'm telling you, they make zero sense. Like, it's one thing. If you're going to trade Duke Johnson for a player, let's say you need a linebacker, and another team's going, hey, we'll give you our middle linebacker for Duke Johnson. And you go, okay, that's going to upgrade our team because we could use middle linebacker help more than what we could use a third down back. Great. Make the deal. It has to be a reasonable deal. Why do we keep trying to keep, like, why are draft picks still on Browns fans' minds the way they were 2 years? 2 years ago, it made sense. Even last year, it made sense. We were rebuilding. We are not rebuilding anymore, people. We are trying to win. We want to take the good players that we have and keep them on the team so we can continue to win. We won 7 games, the first time in I don't know how many years. But that means we're trending upward. It means the players that are here are obviously doing something right. So why would we get rid of them to get more draft picks? We already have 10 draft picks. Why do we need more draft picks? Why? Explain that to me.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's explainable because there's no way we can sign 10 people.
If you cut everybody, if you trade everybody away, you can sign 10 people. Does it make more sense then?
I think it was funny because you asked me, like, well, if you did draft a running back, what kind of running back are you looking for? Because we have Chubb and Hunt, which we don't know how long we're going to have. We don't even know if Hunt's going to be here. So if I have Chubb and Hunt in my backfield as my 2 primary backs, the running back that I'm looking for my third back is Duke Johnson Jr.
Yeah. So that's what you're doing. You're going to trade him away. And look, if you can get a third round pick for him, okay, it's like, Sashi getting a 4th round pick for a kicker or whatever. And you're not if you're not using Duke properly, you get a 3rd round pick for him. Fine. If that makes sense, if that makes you feel better at the end of the day, fine. To me, it just doesn't make sense. I'm not saying he's the best running back in the history of football, but there's people out there slandering that say, good, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't had an opportunity to do it. We've been complaining for 4 years. Why don't you get the ball in Duke's hands? Because when they get the ball in Duke's hands, he actually makes plays. Everybody says that. Nobody's going, well, very few people are going, Duke's just a complete piece of crap. But I see that. Like he doesn't do anything. He's garbage. What are you people what are you watching? What are you? Go watch the other running backs in the league and tell me what he can't be a Darren Sproles type or like the white kid from New England that ended up being Super Bowl MVP when he caught like 10 balls, or it should have been. I can't even remember how that went down. But that's what he does. He's gonna catch the ball in the backfield. He's gonna go into the slot if you need him to do that. He's your third down guy. It's not the most important position in the league, but it's important enough for this team. And then the other thing is, well, the Browns don't use him. Freddie Kitchens' offense doesn't use him. Freddie Kitchens wasn't running his offense last year. He was running Todd Haley's offense with his plays. It's Todd Haley's playbook. Right. How do we know exactly what Freddie Kitchens is going to be bringing in for his offense? We don't know. Oh, well, Todd Monken didn't use him that way. It didn't use his backs that way. Todd Monken wasn't calling the plays in Tampa Bay either. So I don't want to hear that. Like, we don't know exactly what they're going to be using, what the role is going to be for Duke. So now we're just going to throw away Duke Johnson for a 5th round lottery ticket. For what? It makes zero sense. It makes no sense.
The only sense...
Am I the crazy one, Adam? Am I the dumb one here?
The only sense that this would make is if, all right, we're sure Duke's only going to play here one more year. In 2020, you're going to owe him over $4 million cash, and they know they're not going to pay that, and they know they're not going to get an asset back unless they trade him this year.
Okay,
that's it. That's all I can get to.
And maybe, okay, like Spencer Ware's on the free agent market, and then he goes, well, I can just bring in Spencer Ware, and it's not going to give me exactly what Duke gives me, but it'll give me a percent. Like I said, he's replaceable. But do you just make that move and go, well, 5th round pick? Like, does a 5th round pick get you even a little excited? Like, you're like, yeah, we got a 5th round pick for Duke Johnson.
Here's the other one that upsets me is that you could have had Duke play here last year for $2 million cash. Dorsey's the one that gave him an extension, gave him $6 million cash last year, and then turns around that was a win. Like, oh, they re-signed Duke. Great job, John Dorsey. And then
who wasn't happy with that move? Name one fan that was not happy that were like, yes, we got Duke locked up. Every single fan said, great move. Now we're going to use him.
But now that Dorsey wants to trade him, he's like claiming a win. Like, people are like, no, I trust Dorsey. He gave this dude, he didn't have to pay Duke Johnson last year, and he would have made $2 million on his regular contract.
Basically, he double paid him. He overpaid, like he paid him for last year plus this year, and then he might just trade him anyways.
Yeah, it's weird. So Duke made $6 million last year. You could pay him 2.3 and keep him around one more year. I don't get the move either because I'm not like super stoked on the rookie running backs, so I don't really see. I mean,
and you're still using a draft pick,
and you're still going to pick. Yeah, you're still using it. Right, you still have a cost there, an opportunity cost, because you get to pick somebody at a different position. So a weird idea to trade him. I guess if you're going to get an asset for him, this is the only way you're going to do it.
Your hand is almost forced because you go and say something so stupid in the media, and now it's got Duke Johnson having to answer to fucking fans who are going on there and going, oh, Duke took off his Cleveland Browns stuff, which he never had on there, and he has to answer that, and people just making up things. Oh, Duke Johnson, and he has to go there, and he has to look at that, and he has to answer to that for no reason. Just because your GM opens his mouth for no good reason and causes problems when there doesn't need to be one. If he wants to trade him, you call the other GMs around the league and talk to them privately. You don't go out into the public, into the press, and say, hey, well, we might. Well, I don't think it's the time yet, but it's just stupid.
Everyone's acting like Kareem Hunt's going to be here day one, and he's not going to be.
And then that's the other thing. It's like, well, we got Kareem Hunt. Okay, what week's he going to be back? Well, I don't know. That's the point. We don't know, so why are you just going to give away Duke Johnson? Let's say Kareem Hunt doesn't come back till week 12. Let's just say, okay? And week 2, Nick Chubb gets hurt. Well, great. We got Dontrell Hilliard. Woo! I feel great about that one. And then what do people go? Well, you can't give Duke that many carries anyways. How do you know? We've never done it. How could you possibly know? If you go back to college, he carried the ball like 300 times a year. was fine then. All of a sudden he gets in the pros, he carries it 50 times a year, and now you sitting on your couch know that he can't handle the load. How do you know that? It's never happened. So don't tell me that, because he hasn't missed a game. So everybody's out there slandering Duke Johnson as if it's his fault that he's not getting opportunity. It's not Duke Johnson's fault. They don't get him the ball. It's the shitty offensive coordinators that we've had over the years. Now, finally, they put it together last year with Baker Mayfield. Does that mean that they don't have to use him going forward, or that you just get rid of a guy that is a playmaker because you got a good quarterback? No, you try to keep him around. You try to make him fit. You don't. It makes zero sense to just give away a guy for nothing. If you're gonna trade him for something, it makes sense, but it has to be something that's actually worth, that gives you value to your team. Like I said, trading for a player that can actually get on the field this year and produce, not a 5th round draft pick that, maybe he'll contribute a little bit on special teams if we're lucky. He'll probably spend most of his time being on the practice squad. I'm not interested.
Here's the other conundrum that I don't understand either, because everyone loves Duke. Duke is well respected around the league. He's definitely well respected in Cleveland. We have Landry, who is not a playmaker, but people will say, well, he's great in the locker room. He's good for this team. We need veterans around. But then they're like, throw Duke away. I don't get this. I don't get this like backwards talk all the time.
Because Duke's not on Duke didn't go on Twitter, and he's not recruiting other teams. I saw somebody said Jarvis has done more on Twitter to recruit than so and so's done than Danny Shelton. That's what it was. Than Danny Shelton ever did for this team or whatever. Okay, what player has come so far? Let me know. Get back to me when we finally start actually signing players that Jarvis Landry is bringing over. Then we can talk. But what player is like, you know what? I came because Jarvis did. Mm-hmm. Jarvis was. Come on now.
And
I was weird. We're going to bring in. Let's just say we haven't even talked about the OBJ rumors because it's so ridiculous. I think there's like 0% chance that it's happening, but it's getting all this steam. But okay, Odell Beckham Jr. He comes to the Browns, and you're going to pay him. You're going to pay him, or you're going to pay Landry? Like what? You're not paying Landry anymore. I hope he does recruit Odell Beckham Jr. to come here, and then they cut his ass and keep the guy who can actually make plays. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Yeah.
And I don't even want to hate on Jarvis. I feel bad for doing that because he's fine. He's not doing anything terrible, but the disrespect to like Duke Johnson, and then these same people will be like, well, Jarvis Landry does everything for this team. It's mind numbing. It's crazy talk to me.
Yeah, and I'm not saying anything bad about Landry either. I mean, it's a business, and we all sort of know that when they've sort of moved on from you, they're going to move on. But it's weird that Duke, like that was, we have to re-sign Duke. We have to get Duke an extension. He's going into the last year of his contract, and then they re-sign him, and then they claim a win by trading him now. It's a weird thing that's happening.
It's a win-win situation.
It's like this Dorsey trust that just because he's in the front office, we have to trust everything that he's doing, and he doesn't make any mistakes.
No, he's never made a mistake. And when people are even telling me, I don't know, I think he is good in the press. I think that's his plan. His plan is to be an idiot, to talk like a moron. Okay, great plan. Keep it up.
Yeah, the appeal to authority is strong right now in Cleveland. That I don't know why Sashi didn't get that.
Because the press was out hating him from day one. They badmouthed.
Oh, that's right.
Day one, they got on as soon as they said, "Well, we're moving on to Sashi Brown." Tony Grossi was writing on the air talking about it's the worst move in the history of professional sports. What do these guys know? They're baseball guys, and we have to listen. Well, finally, we got a football guy. Yeah, John Dorsey's. I don't want to hate, and that's the other thing. I'm not trying to hate on John Dorsey what the job that he's done. He's fine. He's done a good job. It's just when he speaks, like he's causing. I don't know if he knows it, but you're causing more problems than what you're helping yourself. Like saying that about Duke Johnson does zero to help you. It does zero. How is it beneficial at all to say something about Duke Johnson like that in the press?
It's not. It's not beneficial at all for Dorsey to ever talk in the press about anything except sports cliches and bullshit.
He needs to be sent to spending a lot more time with whatever that Saint Baptiste, whatever the hell that guy's name is that was working with him and Hugh. Hardest job in sports right there. That guy's got.
So yeah, and let's Duke's running back. It's not the end of the world if they move on from Duke. It's a replaceable position, but we're getting other rumors right now that Kevin Zeitler is part of a trade, or he's on the block, or he's part of rumors. Is Brown's Twitter going to handle Dorsey moving on from Kevin Zeitler, one of the highest graded offensive guards in the league? How's he gonna manage this one?
The highest pass blocking grade by Pro Football Focus. Was he a Pro Bowler this year? If not, he was snubbed. He deserved it. He was like an alternate or something, wasn't he?
I'm not sure. I don't pay attention to those silly things.
He's playing at top notch level. He's got a pretty hefty contract, but why create another hole where you don't have to? Why? Because he's not my guy. That's why. And I can insert second round draft pick who couldn't even get on the field, who couldn't even get onto the active list for most weeks. Austin Reiter. Why did I just say that? Austin Corbett. We can just push him in there. Great. The people, and I'm looking on Twitter right now. His replacement's here. Why do we need Kevin Zeitler? The replacement's here. Great. We do have a replacement. What did he play? 9 snaps last year? How many snaps did he play? Seriously, 50 maybe at most?
Yeah.
Great. What happened to, well, we're going to have competition at every single position. We're going to bring in competition for everybody. So you got to earn your spot. That's not earning your spot. That's going, hey, we're going to trade away the guy who is by far a better player to just stick you in there because you're my guy. That's what that would come down to.
Yeah, Kevin, just for the sake of, you mentioned the contract, Kevin Zeitler's owed $10 million this year, $10 million in 2020, and $12 million in 2021. If he were to be traded, we have 7.2 dead cap. Or you can just pay him $10 million this year to play.
So either way, so we would save $3 million by trading him away, and potentially, I actually think you could get something for Kevin Zeitler.
If he's part of some sort of mega deal, then I kind of understand it, and maybe they think offensive guard's not that important. But we do have Baker Mayfield, who is a quote unquote short quarterback. He likes to work the pocket, and he likes to step forward in the pocket. Don't we need 2 spectacular guards and a great center, or am I just like trying to create a narrative around that?
I mean, here's what I would do. If I have a second-year quarterback who I'm relying on, I'm going to give him the best opportunity going forward to have success. And to me, yes, $10 million, good chunk of change, but he's protected. We know that. It's proven. Again, if you're going away from Kevin Zeitler to an unknown guy, even somebody like Austin Corbett, who's the 33rd overall pick, so you think you would have some faith in, you don't know. And now you're rolling the dice. You're gambling. You're taking your rent money and you're buying lottery tickets at that point. We're not in that position to me. To me, we're not. We were in that position 2 years ago. We were in that position last year. We're in the position to win. Why do we continue to do things like that? And these rumors could just be complete nonsense. A lot of times where there's smoke, there's fire, but it could be nonsense. Maybe he's not even thinking about that. But would it surprise me that they're going to move on from Zeitler so they can get Corbett into lineup? No, because these GMs do that kind of stuff. Football guys do that kind of stuff every single year. We see it all the time. So I wouldn't be surprised for 1 second. I just think, what's the point? Again, what would be the point of that?
I don't know. I'm not sure either, because it's $10 million. It's not that much. I mean, we're not a team that's like, oh, we need to save a bunch of cap. I mean, you just dumped Collins $10 million. So there's your $10 million.
And Tyrod Taylor. $15 million or $14 million from Tyrod. And we already had $50 million. You're protected. Like, that's what he's protecting Baker. You're protected there because you have a good player. All right, you trade him, you get a second round pick or whatever, or you trade him for a player. Okay, you upgrade. Austin Ryder or Joel Bitonio go down.
Stop saying Austin Ryder. He doesn't play here anymore.
Austin Corbett or Joel Bitonio go down, and then what? You're back to the season where Alex Mack got hurt, and the Browns went from a playoff record to not even winning or winning like one more game.
But they saved money.
Hey, save money. Yeah, we need money.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of this one either. I'm not sure how they're going to sell this.
Are you a better team? Here's the thing. Are you a better team for getting rid of Kevin Zeitler, or are you a worse team? That's where I want to be. Like, I'm thinking next year, I'm going into next year as a playoff team. I want to be the best possible team I can be. Yes, the future matters, and you have to, you still have to think about that stuff. But I don't think that's the kind, like, Kevin Zeitler's not sitting there like, man, if we don't get Kevin Zeitler off the books, we're screwed next year. It's not like that. We're not in that position. I want to get the best players out there. He's the best right guard that we could possibly be playing on this team.
So, I don't understand. Yeah, I'm not sure either. We'll see what happens there going forward.
Some guy told me, well, Dorsey said we're not going to win the Super Bowl next year, so what's the point of keeping these guys? Are we a playoff team or not? Well, yeah, we could make the playoffs. Okay, if we can make the playoffs, then we can't win two. There's no chance. We can make the playoffs, but there's no chance we could win 2 or 3 more games to get to the Super Bowl. Impossible. Come on, man. I don't understand some Browns fans sometimes, the way they think. They're more worried about these draft picks than anything else. We were worried about draft picks 2 years ago. That time has passed. Our team, the core is built. Let's get players around these guys. Let's take our I'm not trading for 5th round. We need to be taking our 5th round picks and investing those in players that are in the league that can actually play. You look for guys that don't fit another system when the coach changed somewhere else and they want to get rid of players, and then they're going to cut a guy who can produce because he doesn't fit their system. We'll give you a 5th round pick or a 6th round pick for that guy. He can come in here and he can play right away. He's a veteran player and he's proven. That's what I want to do with my picks. I don't want to get more of them. We need more. We need to take the veteran players we have, the guys that are produced, so we can get more 5th round picks. Come on now.
It's a little frustrating because, we've been actually, like I said, we're going into our 4th season here. We went through the rebuild when trading back was the right thing to do, and then we had to fucking defend our positions of trading back all the time because people are like, you can't just keep trading back. Well, you can when you're rebuilding, but you have a quarterback now. So hire people that can protect him, get playmakers, and fuck the cap. And you don't need 10 draft picks this year.
Yeah.
Unless you're moving up, unless you're using them to move, that's good. But
obviously don't fuck the cap. But yeah, at the same time, like, you have plenty of money to work with right now, where getting rid of Kevin Zeitler is not something that you should be prioritizing. The other thing is, like, well, John Dorsey said he wasn't going all in. Yeah, no shit. Why? Looking at this roster, why would we have to go all in? Why would anybody look at this and be like, well, we got to go and get all these free agents. We got to go all in. We're built. The core of this team is young players, where you're fine. You're going to work. We might not win we might not be a championship caliber team this year, right? But we're working our way there. And there's no point in going all in ever with this team. It's building sustainably. That's what you're building for. You want to be good for a long time, not to go all in 1 year and shoot your load right away. Like,
no, I agree with you. Let's build something that works year after year after year, where you pay the core players, and then you can churn the rest. But we're not at the spot where we have to churn the vets yet.
No, we are not like in cap hell or even cap problems like New England. New England goes, oh man, we can't pay our left tackle, and we're gonna have to let him go. We're gonna have to replace him with a lesser player, and it works out for them. Great. We don't even have those players, or we don't have those problems. So why are we even talking about it? We don't have to do that. Yeah. But this is where we sit. And then I don't understand. I don't understand where some Browns fans want to take this. Like, where do you really think we are this year? do you think we're a playoff team or not? Because if you're willing to get rid of these guys, that tells me that you don't think we're really a playoff team. I think this is a playoff caliber team.
Yeah, me too. One, it starts with the quarterback position. Now we just need to fill in the spots around him. And then you bring in your draft picks are people that are going to come through the system and then replace those other dudes. But using Zeitler and all these other players are using cap to bring in some like 30-year-old. That's not how I want a team build right now.
Yeah, we'll see. There, like I said, it could just be a lot of smoke.
Well, that's the problem with dealing with rumors. Maybe none of it's nothing, but most of the time, if they're talking about it, something's happening. So let's go to Antonio Brown. The Steelers have said, whoever's in, get your final offers in because we're moving them by Friday. So within 48 hours, we should have something happening with Antonio Brown. I won't be sad when he's out of the AFC North.
You gotta look at this Steelers turmoil going on and just, finally, that's all I'm thinking. It's finally happened. It's finally starting to turn around for the Browns. Bad things are happening to them. I don't know if you got to see the interview that Antonio Brown did with ESPN, but it was pretty interesting. He's talking about, I don't even need to play football. I don't need football. I want camaraderie. I want family. So he's not interested. He talked to, and he asked the guy doing the interview, that I don't remember his name, was like, well, who are you talking about? The owner. The quarterback got into Roethlisberger. He is hitting up Roethlisberger. My quarterback's going to call me out. This kind of stuff. It was pretty interesting. And then he's like, Roethlisberger's only had me over to his house one time. Once. He doesn't even know my girlfriend's name. I'm like, this is crazy, man. This is nuts. Good luck to whatever team gets Antonio Brown. He probably would have been a perfect guy for Hugh, now that I think about it. Hugh would have been his friend, would have let him do whatever he wanted.
Oh, yeah. Would have been the prodigal son, man. He would have got his own nickname.
He would have followed him around everywhere. You need anything, Antonio? Just let me know. I'll be back here. Okay, coach.
Sometimes it makes me nervous what's happening here, and I don't think Antonio Brown's part of it. I hope Beckham Jr.'s not part of it. As good of a player as he is, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to go down these streets.
Antonio Brown is not. I mean, the Steelers are not dumb. They're not trading in the. There's no way. There's no way the Steelers are trading in the division.
No, I don't think so either. But it's just I don't know if people would be excited about it. I don't think I would.
Yeah, but Beckham. I mean, Beckham's a player, man. He's a stud. It seems ridiculous for the Giants to go and sign him and then get rid of him next year. Huh. Like Duke Johnson, sort of. Yeah. It makes sense if Gettleman is dealing with Dorsey. 2 peas in a pod there. I don't know. I mean, you see, I'll take Odell Beckham Jr. in a second. It's fantastic. You just don't like his attitude or something?
I just don't know if I want to give the compensation that's necessary to get him over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. What do you speculate that it is? Like 2 first-round picks or something?
I don't know. Maybe
wouldn't do that.
Maybe Zeitler's part of that.
I really don't even see the point of. I know people want to get him, but I don't even I would trade our first-round pick this year. If it, all right, you can have 17, but I'm fine with. I think there's plenty of talent out there at wide receiver that you can get. I'm not saying they're Odell Beckham Jr., but you can get some really good players. I think, especially in this draft. I don't know if you have to waste use your first round pick for him if that's, and then I would do that, honestly. If they go, you can do it for 17, I'd be like, yeah, heck yeah, I'd do it. But multiple first round picks, I don't think there's any way I could do it. That would be a problem.
Yeah. Do you want to dive into some of the wide receivers of the now that we're post combine?
Sure. Anybody stick out to you?
I do have a couple favorites here.
Okay.
And I haven't done a lot of.
You've given me any players so far, right? So you haven't really go, hey, how about that guy? We haven't talked about that on the pod. So this will be the first time you're kind of giving me a couple names that you like.
Well, yeah, I needed the combine to finish up so I could have some more information. But
okay,
some early, maybe round 2 dudes that I would take. Miles Boykin, wide receiver out of Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
I like him
so
a lot.
Miles Boykin, what was it? What was I watching? Oh, do you know who Preston Williams ran today? Do you know who Preston Williams is? Colorado State kid that got in trouble and couldn't go to the combine.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you watch him on tape, you go, "Wow, man, he's got a nice get off. Like he attacks his routes." And he ran like a 4.66 today or something like that. And then you watch Miles Boykin, and you go, "Jesus Christ, does he walk off the line every time they snap the ball? Like he just looks so slow." And he goes out and has one of the best athletic profiles. Sometimes it makes zero sense. Like it's almost as if those two guys switched. Like Miles Boykin's like, "I'll go to your Colorado State workout. Preston, you work out for me at the combine." Because that's what it looks like on tape. I was shocked. Now Miles Boykin probably had, I believe by the Jim Metrics, who we just had on the show the other day, he was the top athlete, right? If you go by his metrics.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and his web is pretty impressive, and that because he outbeat DK Metcalf, obviously because of his agility drills were so much better. DK Metcalf was terrible on his like bottom 5% or something like that. But when you watch him, I'm just not like blown. Like this guy's a stud. I'm watching Miles Boykin going, he's got all that athletic ability, but I just don't see him making a ton of plays. Now it doesn't look like Notre Dame's quarterback's helping him by any means. They don't do a very good job of throwing the ball there. That would be a player I'm going to go back myself after seeing how he ran and try to figure out what's going on there with him. So he's an intriguing guy. Who else you got?
Yeah, well, I just like him. One, he's one of the dudes that has some size. He's almost 6'4", 220. He ran a 4.42. His vertical and his broad jumps were high 90 percentiles, and his agility drills were over 75 percentiles. On top of, I thought he put down pretty good tape, and he blocks. I think he likes blocking, and it looked like he ran a lot of different routes, which I'm going to get into with the next 2 dudes. I don't know if they know how to run routes that are.
How is because we kind of talked about this earlier. You told me Miles Boykin had ran good. And I go, yeah, but how's his production? Did you figure that out?
Yeah, 59 receptions, 872 yards with 8 scores. But I don't know, I don't have a production score in front of me. That was about 25% of the receiving yardage that Notre Dame put up.
The market share, okay.
The next dude that I really like, and I think he would be awesome with Baker Mayfield, is Paris Campbell, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, 6', 205, and blazing fast, 4.31. 92 percentile in the vertical and broad jump. Short shuttle was a 4, almost flat. That's a 90 percentile. I think he's just a perfect yards after catch guy. Get him the ball, let him do stuff.
Yeah, he's sort of that Curtis Samuel guy that they always, Ohio State, Urban Meyer, when he was at Florida, he did the same thing with Percy Harvin. You always have that guy that you just get on the screens and let run. He's just playmaker. The one thing I guess about Paris Campbell that, like how polished a receiver, he's pretty raw, and that's always been the one thing when you watch a lot of Ohio State, you're like, Paris Campbell, athlete. It's not even in question. The guy can make plays. How good of a receiver is he going to be? How good can he be? Because I think he's got a lot of ways to go before he gets, his hands are okay. I would like to see what PFF has him for his drop rate and stuff.
Well, those numbers will be coming out soon on PFF when they drop their draft guide, right?
Yep. Yeah, okay. I imagine. We'll be able to check that probably like within a week or something.
Good.
Yeah, I don't think he's a great route runner or anything like that. I think that he's just a freaking playmaker. So you can find ways to use him. I don't know if the Browns can because we never seem to be able to use our playmakers properly. But yeah. I think before the combine, if you would have told me Paris Campbell's a second round pick, I would have told you you're crazy. And then after he did that, which we should have all expected anyways, you can come back and go, Paris Campbell's a second-round pick. You go, yeah, maybe. He might be.
Yeah, I don't know if he can.
A lot of talent, though.
This is the problem with college football in general. I don't know if any of these dudes can, like, win contested catches. I don't know if any of them can run routes.
Well, I'll tell you what. I agree with you. There are teams that you can see they run a good good amount of route tree, but you get to like a team like Missouri or like when Corey Coleman was with Baylor, like they run 3 routes. You're running a go, you're running a hitch, you're running a slant. And when you do that, and that's why you brought up Miles Boykin running a bunch of different routes. Yeah, I like to see that as well. I think that going back to Corey Coleman, like he was so raw. He had so far to go. When you're getting a guy like that in the first round or even second round for that matter, that takes on a lot of risk. I think that's almost too much risk because you're hoping he can develop that, and that seems to be one of the harder things. Like for these guys, you just don't become a great route runner. It's almost like having good hands. It's either have it or you don't. Yeah. And maybe it's work ethic. I don't know what it is, but when you look in the NFL, the best receivers are the best route runners, right?
Yeah, a lot of times.
You don't go, well, you don't look at the top receivers every year and go, well, I don't know how he's just not great on his routes. They're all like Antonio Brown, Beckham, they're all very good at what they do. They're very good. Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, they're just great at doing that, at running those routes. So that's why DK Metcalf, where you go, well, he's more of a linear guy and he's not a great route runner. That's a lot of risk, man. That's a lot of risk involved there with DK Metcalf. Now, he's got all the athletic ability in the world to be a first-round pick, but that was what would scare me away from him, So where did you have a guy like DK Metcalf? Did you just completely take him off your board?
His agility drills were concerning. I think he's going to get picked early, so I didn't even put him down. But I guess if he's there in round 2, I would take him, but I expect him to also improve on his agility drills at his pro day. Yeah,
right. Oh, yeah, that I'm sure. And everybody is bringing up the film like, here he is, he's slipping. And, well, he slips because he's stiff. He's like the tin. So
that's sort of the hard part is, like, I don't want to throw these dudes out because there is a spot where you would take pretty much everybody. I was just trying to grab a couple dudes that I kind of liked. And then with, not a whole lot of tape watching, trying to like figure out who they are, and then I'll dig in more as we get more data and whatnot.
Yeah,
as I start to parse them a little bit.
Such a good wide receiver group. Who else you got?
I thought day 2 guy Deebo Samuel, wide receiver out of South Carolina.
Oh, I love Deebo. Deebo might be my favorite guy.
Yeah, he seemed a lot like Paris Campbell to me. He's 5'11", 214. His numbers weren't quite as good as Paris Campbell's.
Here's where I'd give Deebo the notch in like being like a more polished receiver over Paris Campbell in a second. Like if I go, all right, who can come out and run the full route tree day 1? Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, see, I'd have to watch some more games. I saw him run sort of a lot of the same. But he runs past a lot of safeties too.
Yeah. I feel like you can put him in the slot. You can put him on the outside. I don't know how much Paris Campbell is going to be playing on the outside.
Yeah.
Getting off press, that kind of stuff. I think he's going to be used sort of as like sort of the way, like Carolina is using Curtis Samuel, really. It'll be interesting, though. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I just feel like Deebo's a much more polished receiver.
Yeah, Deebo had 62 receptions, 882 yards, scored 11 times. I think that's pretty decent production for South Carolina.
I guess that would be the one thing you're worried about with Deebo is injury. I think he tore his ACL last year, or he broke his leg. I can't remember. Some kind of leg thing.
That never helps.
No. What was Paris Campbell's production?
90 receptions, 1,063 yards, and 12 scores. I think he got a little boost from a lot of those. They run him across the formation, and then the quarterback just flips him the ball. That counts as a pass.
Yes.
Yeah. He scored on a couple of those, if I remember correctly.
That's the kind of guy you just want to get the ball in his hands, though, without question. Both of them.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
As I started to go back, I put this guy somewhere around round 4. Gary Jennings, wide receiver out of West Virginia. He lined up in the slot, I think, on every play that I saw. He also can run past some safeties, but it just looks like 2 routes. I've never seen him catch a ball in traffic. He's 6'1", 214, ran a 4.42. His 3-cone was awful, but his short shuttle was okay. So
I always think a 3-cone, if you're going to be a slot guy, I want you to be a below 7.
Yeah, he was 7.32.
Oh,
that's 5%. Yeah. That's the 5%. I mean, he's like really bad there.
You got to get in and out of your cuts, man, when you're in the slot,
Yeah, he had 917 yards on 54 catches, 13 scores in his senior year. So that was his production.
So what did you think of Hakeem Butler? I mean, obviously he's a stud. Are you just assuming he's not going to be there in the second round?
Hakeem Butler, he didn't do the agility drills, right? So N'Keal Harry, Hakeem Butler, A.J. Brown's another one that I think I'm going to like. I'm just waiting for him for the pro days.
A.J. Brown is another guy there at 49 would be in the running. I don't want to get him in the first round. He might get, I don't know, some team might take him at the end of the first round. But if you got him, you got a chance there at 49. It starts with Debo, I think, with me, would be the first guy on my list. But you could talk me into N'Keal Harry. You could talk me into Hakeem Butler. You could talk me into, A.J. Brown. There's it's endless depth there at wide receiver in this group.
Yeah. Day 3 dudes, I had Terry McLaurin from Ohio State, Stanley Morgan Jr. out of Nebraska, and Darius Slayton out of Auburn. I thought they could go late.
So Darius Slayton, I turned on his tape the first time, and I was like, this is probably going to be the fastest guy. This guy is a straight burner, but he has the worst hands. Terrible hands. He drops everything, and that's the other thing that is everybody's talking about with Hakeem Butler. Why Hakeem Butler might? I mean, you look at athletic ability; he's right there, first round guy, but he dropped 11 out of 71 catchable passes. That's terrible. I can't wait to see what Darius Slayton's number are, but they are going to be bad. And watching him, I go, this guy's got all the athleticism in the world, can't catch. He kind of reminds me of another Auburn wide receiver that might be on our team.
Mr. Ricardo Lewis? Is that?
Oh, yeah, that's the name.
Yeah, so that's just a couple of the dudes that I've been through so far that maybe some people to look at. There's going to be more to come.
What else did you grab? Oh, yeah, we'll talk about some other dudes, too, once we... But those are some good combine. What other positions do you do? Running backs or...
Yeah, I wasn't thinking to do a lot of running back work, but then they started talking about Duke, and I was like, well, maybe we're going to need somebody late. I think one of my favorite dudes is Miles Sanders out of Penn State. He seemed solid. I don't know what round he's expected to go in or anything. He looked tough to bring down, pretty elusive. He just breaking a lot of tackles, and he actually did some pass blocking, and he seemed okay there. So I don't know where he fits in, though, to the draft, if he's early guy or late or what.
That's the guy we brought up when we were talking to Pete. I don't know why nobody's talking about this guy, because Miles Sanders looks like he's just good. He's just a good back. There's nothing to... He ran what? A 4.540? Everything was above average, right?
Yeah, 4.49 on the 40, 36-inch broad vert, and 124 broad. Those are over 70 percentile. 3-cone was 6.89. 20-yard shuttle was 4.19, and those are well above average.
Yeah, so he's
10 and a half, 211 pounds.
Yeah, somebody's going to probably take it within the first 3 rounds, I imagine. I don't think we're in the market for a top 3 round running back this year.
Yeah, I don't think so either. A couple other guys I jotted down. Dexter Williams out of Notre Dame.
I haven't watched anything with him. Did you watch him?
Just a little. Just trying to get familiar with a couple of these names. Justice Hill out of Oklahoma State.
Small guy, Duke replacement.
What's that?
Duke replacement. He's a small guy.
Yeah, he looks like he can catch. He's got 3 full years of production. Seemed pretty elusive too.
He ran what, 4.4 flat? He was good, whatever it was. And he had like a 40-inch vert or something like that.
4.4 flat, 40-inch vert, 130 on the broad. He didn't do the agility drills.
Yeah, why? He already crushed it. What's the point? Stu.
Travis Homer out of Miami.
But he's a big back, right? Because we're not gonna get like an every down back, or we're not getting like a 2 down back here. If anything, if we're gonna get anything, it's gonna be kind of like a Duke replacement, I would think.
Yeah, that's what's annoying about the whole thing. Why don't we just keep Duke?
Who even knows? Yeah, exactly. Who even knows anymore?
Yeah. Homer's 5'10", 201, ran a 4.48, and then pretty good athletic testing.
I'll tell you what, when the draft guy comes out, I'll know exactly who Dorsey likes, because you go through, you just look who led the nation in broken tackles. He's gonna like him. That's the kind of guys he likes. Yeah. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. That's what they were good at. That was their bread and butter.
Yeah, you mentioned
Duke Johnson like number 9 this year in the running backs and broken tackles, but people are telling me he's not good.
Duke slander's not gonna fly here. No. The kid out of Memphis, that was one you liked, right?
No, I don't even necessarily like him. I just think the kid just is he's a home run hitter, man. They give him the ball and he just goes, like he's gone. I don't know if I've ever seen him run through in traffic. It's just they give him the ball. There's a gigantic hole. He runs faster than anybody else on the field and scores touchdowns. What's not to like, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. Darrell Henderson or something. Is that his name?
Darrell Henderson. Yeah.
He had 1,900 yards. So yeah, I mean he's good, but I don't think there's any chance in hell Oregon to have a chance at him.
Yeah, Alex Barnes out of Kansas State. I figure he's a mid-round guy. He ran well, but I don't know. I'm not sure what to think of this guy yet.
He's tough, man. He'll put his shoulder down, run through you. That's for sure. I have watched him. I went back and watched him because he had probably one of the best combine. Right? Isn't that what Geometrics had him really high on his board?
Yeah, I think minus the speed. His speed was 4.59, but his explosiveness was good and his agility is pretty good.
And that running that 40 is you run it at 4.59. That's not the end of the world. Like Kareem Hunt was a 4.6 guy. What was Nick Chubb's like a 4.52. Like you're in the 4.5s. That's solid enough.
Yeah, and Barnes is coming in at 226. So I mean he's a bigger back too. So you can. The speed number might not be that far off for when you're weighted for
that 40 is just so overrated, man. People look at that and that's the first thing you go to. What's his 40?
Yeah, you want the whole picture.
Yeah,
you don't want just one number and then you just go with that. But that was it. We need testing numbers on Josh Jacobs out of Alabama, Rodney Anderson out of Oklahoma. I think he was hurt or something, so he didn't test.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like him too. But yeah, if he's hurt again, I didn't know he was hurt.
I don't know. He didn't test.
Oh, okay.
As far as I can tell.
Yeah. Because he was tough when he played with Baker, man. Load. Another big back.
Yeah, I wasn't even planning on looking at backs, but I guess now we have to.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dorsey.
Do you have any other backs you want to bring up?
No, because I've 3 positions that I really haven't dug that much into, and I finally got into the corner. I was going to say cornerback is one of them, but I started doing it over the past couple of days. But quarterback and running backs, I just really have hardly done it very much at all. So it's for that same reason. I didn't think, what's the point? We're not going to take any of them.
Yeah. So a couple guys to look at there if you want to look them up. Did you do any tight ends? I did not do tackles.
Oh, yet. Yeah. Okay, you didn't. Okay, but yeah, I did. I know the tight ends pretty well. So who stuck out with you?
Of course, the 2 kids from Iowa are very interesting.
Yeah, you're taking them at 17 if you're taking them, or you're not getting them. Either, and I don't even know if Hawkinson's going to be there. And Noah Fant. Okay, so Noah Fant, phenomenal athlete. But he's not going to give you that block. Like if we're going to get a tight end, I kind of hope they get a guy that can be an inline guy, because you have an athlete there with Njoku. You have an athlete. Nobody considers Seth DeValve on this team. I think he's fine if you want that athletic tight end. You can use him that way. But if they drafted Noah Fant, I'm not going to be pissed about it. At 17, I would probably be pissed about it. But if they get Noah Fant somehow on the team for a good deal, I'd be happy with it. The kid can make you all kinds of plays. I just, that's not necessarily the kind of tight end I'm looking for.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The other one that I liked was Foster Moreau out of LSU.
Yeah. And he had a great combine.
Yeah.
But the LSU, so who knows what he can give you in the pass game, because they're terrible. They threw all right this year. They actually had a quarterback this year for once.
Yeah, I don't have much more on tight ends after that. So if there's anyone you like,
I don't have a list in front of me, but that's why I was hoping you'd just throw out names. The one guy that kind of was a bummer how he tested was that Jay Sternberger. That's another guy I kind of brought up before, but he's not an inline guy either. So I was expecting him to be better. He catches everything. He's really good at just if you're going to use him to be a receiving tight end. The guy I'm kind of interested in is that Waring kid, or the one from San Diego State. I can't find any film of the kid, but he looks like a pretty damn good athlete. And I see like cut-ups of him on Twitter where it's like, dang, this kid can play. I can't find any game film of him. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
San Diego?
Kahale Waring.
Yeah.
6'5", 252, ran a 4.67, high 80 percentile in the explosive drills. 3-cone was a 7.21, but his short shuttle was good at 4.25.
250 pounds, like 7.21 is bad?
35 percentile.
Oh, wow. That's surprising to me.
But I think it hits the marks that you need.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's terrible. I think you're fine with it.
Yeah, he was one that I really want to look more into. The Oliver kid from San Jose State is one that I want to look more into. The kid from Stanford can block, and he can go up and make all kinds of plays. Caden Smith, I believe, is his name. But didn't he test like terrible? He looks slow as shit when you watch him.
Yeah, that's usually
Stanford tight ends are usually good, regardless of just you got a Stanford tight end, just put him in the league.
Yeah, he did test very poorly.
Yeah, I kind of like the guys there at the top, and I'll have to dig in a little bit more to get to see what's late. I think they're probably going to take a tight end somewhere.
Yeah, I know you like the tight end class. Coburn wasn't real excited about them athletically, but
yep.
There might be some tape dudes there that will be just fine. So
Dawson Knox, he didn't run the 40, but did he do the other stuff? Do you have his on there? That was the one guy. He looks pretty athletic.
Yeah, from Ole Miss, 6'4", 254, vert 34.5. That's 68 percentile. He didn't do the broad for some reason. And he did a little bit above average on the agility drills. 7.12 3-cone, 4.27 on the short shuttle. Those are.
I bet he would have ran a good 40. I don't know why he didn't do it. I hate when these guys don't go there and run.
Yeah, just do the drills.
Do the drills, man. What the hell? Unless you're hurt, of course.
Yeah. I get it. Their agents get in their ears like, well, we don't. You could be a 4th round pick, but if you run, you might drop to 5, or maybe you run good and you go up to 3. So I don't know.
Yeah, good point.
Like, let these dudes run. But that's about all I got because I haven't dove into defense yet. This is the preliminary as it gets.
All right. Well, we got plenty of time, and then the tackles is gonna obviously that's gonna be the place. That might be that could even go at 17. People might not be happy with it, but there's some good tackles here in this draft, and that's one of the biggest needs on the team. And if John Dorsey obviously knows that it's a big need, otherwise he wouldn't have been spending, he wouldn't spend the amount of money on a right tackle and then been trying to search for a left tackle the entire, he spent the whole year trying to find something to do with that left tackle.
Yeah, Andre Dillard out of Washington State by far tested the best. So that might be where you start. Caleb McGarry out of Washington also tested really well. But I think between those two, they're going to be some early picks.
Well, Dillard has really good tape, and the McGarry kid gets beat often. I've only watched like 2 games of him, but I'm like, okay, well, there's clearly a difference in tape on those 2 players without question.
Bad technique.
when you're talking about athletic ability, that's your starting point, right?
Yeah, a couple dudes that were talked about, like Greg Little out of Mississippi and Jonah Williams out of Alabama. When I watched them, I just wrote down, like, I don't know if they can move, and then they tested like they can't move. So
Jonah Williams tested badly? I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
Really?
yeah,
Boy,
so
he was like
those would be
consensus
tough
top
ones.
pick. I watch him, I go, I mean, he's okay. Like he's not like this shutdown left tackle when you watch him.
Yeah. I mean, and there's nothing to say that just because you tested poorly doesn't mean you're going to be a bad tackle. We're just trying to narrow our options here to make better choices. It doesn't mean he's going to be bad. Don't send this back to me in 3 years and go, oh, he tested bad, but he's an all-pro. Like, that's a possibility, you know?
The other talk was him moving to guard as well, because he was like just right at 300 pounds. I don't think he was super long. So that could be the other thing. They move him inside. Sort of, you remember what the Cowboys did that with the kid from Texas last year who we were talking about maybe being a tackle for us.
Oh, yeah. God damn it. I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Doesn't matter. But yeah, we talked about him maybe second round getting taken there to be the tackle, and then he ends up playing guard where he's probably going to stay. Yeah,
he went early, didn't he?
He went in the second round.
Oh, okay.
To Dallas, wherever Dallas picked in the second round. So
yeah, I could look up his name, but I'm not going to.
Like O'Connor or something like that. Connor McGregor. Connor Williams is what it
is exactly what it is.
That's the way my stupid monkey brain works. Yeah, we'll dive. We'll get some more into that. There's something else I wanted to bring up, but now I can't remember. Oh well, we can end it. We've been going at it probably an hour here.
Yep, we're well over an hour. Thank you everybody for listening. Greg, what's our Twitter?
Our Twitter is at STS Podcast, and our email is
survivingtheseason@gmail.com. Thank you everybody for checking us out, and most of all for sharing the podcast.
Hold on. Rumors coming out of Cleveland this afternoon are wild and huge. Something's cooking, says Matt Miller.
So nothing's happening? Okay.
Benjamin Alt says, since others won't, I will. Basically, the rumor is, with many different variations, is a Kevin Zeitler and draft picks plus another player for Odell Beckham. I cannot stress enough that this is a rumor and not currently coming from any known credible source.
Okay, so it's nothing. But if they do make that trade, he'll retweet that and say, I had it.
At first.
Fucking stupid. I fucking hate rumor mill Twitter. I really do.
The best part is like the credit. Hey man, you get credit. You had it first of all of news that everybody was going to find out in like 2 hours anyways. It's not like you were talking to Deep Throat, okay, and finding some like government something going behind the scenes that was illegal, and then you uncovered it. No, it's literally the stuff that's going to come out anyways. No, but what set you're going to find out what player plays for what team, no matter what. It's going to happen. And then like, well, you had it first. Great. Which means basically this. You either know the player's agent and he texted you before he texted somebody else, or you know somebody in the front office. Great. So you know somebody who told you information that's going to be released to the public anyways. Congratulations on your job.
Right. Yeah. My friend told me this, but I can't tell anybody until it comes out, and then I can take credit for knowing about it before it happened, because I can't drop that info because then they'll know who the source was, and I can't burn my source. So it's just like it's like the most backwards thing ever.
So in the next, 10 years, we're going to be facing a crisis in this country, right? Where robots are taking your jobs. This is the one job that I actually want to be taken by robots immediately. Because
yes. Can we just, yes. Outsource this shit to AI and then just dump the info when it's done.
It's the dumbest thing. I hate it. Here we go. Well, there's these other Twitter personalities that will be like, oh, big news. Things are coming. Yeah, no shit. Oh, free agency's almost here. Things are coming. Thank you for that. Oh man, you dropped it. You gave us knowledge. Oh, please share. Please. I must. I'm sitting on pins and needles. I need to know. My God.
Right. I mean, we're just trying to react to the news, but sometimes it just gets out of control.
I can't stop refreshing.
Yeah.
You eyeball emojis.
All right, everybody. Our Patreon is at patreon.com/STS podcast. We appreciate all of our executive producers. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast. We really, really do appreciate it. We don't give you shout out enough. You're paying the bills to have the podcast hosted, and we love you for it. Thank you so much. #Road to Redemption. Greg, tell them what we say.
Keep on surviving.
Good one. Good one.